また困るから。
あ、そう、マウイ
ここで
みたいなのを取る。
うわ
食べてる食べてる。
すごい勢いで。
ただすごく手が汚れるんですよ。
そう思う。あそこにあるトラムに乗って、プランテーションの中を見学して回るというツアーですね。プランテーションストア、受付と売店になってるんですかね。観光ルートの一つに組み込まれているような感じですね。でレストルーム、トロピカルエクスプレスツアーって書いてありますね。ミルハウスが右側にあると。マウイシェフステーブル、なんかレストランなんですかね。なるほど。あちらからツアーがスタートするようですね。一番前に牽引車で1、2、客車が3両ですね。ヤシのかわいい実がついてる。
For your safety, please buckle up your seatbelts. Just kidding, there are no seatbelts, but I do ask while the tram is in motion, please remain seated. It does get a bit windy towards the back of the plantation, so you might want to hold on to your loose items, such as your hats and boarding passes. Alrighty, starting off with the tour, looking on either side of the tram here at these beautiful palm trees. These are called the Manila Palms, and these Manila Palms are originated from the Philippines. But here in Hawaii, we like to call them the Christmas palms. That's because when you look at the trunk of the tree, there's usually the green and red berries that grow out of them. These berries are non-edible. However, when these green berries matures into that red berry, those red berries do contain that liquid anesthetic that causes a numbing and tingling sensation. So for that same reason, in the Philippines, some people actually suck on these red berries to help alleviate cold sores and toothaches. But here in Hawaii, we don't necessarily do that. We like to wait for the berries to dry up, then fall to the ground. We then collect all the dried up berries, dehusk it, drill a hole through it, fine it and polish it, and turn it into jewelry, such as bracelets and necklaces. And looking at the right hand side, we have our pineapple field. The Hawaiian word for pineapple is halakahiki. Now you won't see any pineapples at this time though, the field workers just harvested them a couple of days ago. But we do have more pineapple fields in the back of the plantation, so you'll be able to see them grow. A fun fact for you all, it's really easy to grow pineapple. All you need to do is go to your local grocery store, purchase a whole pineapple, then cut that top spiky portion off, which is known to be the crown. Delete that crown a little, then place it into a bowl of water. Wait about a week or so until you see the roots start to grow out of it. As soon as you see that, you can go ahead and plant it straight into the soil. So it's definitely easy to grow one, but it will test your patience a little. It's going to take 18 months for that pineapple to grow, and then another 6 months for that pineapple to ripen. So in total, you'll be waiting about 2.5 years until you can harvest your first pineapple. And when that first pineapple grows, that will be your one and only normal sized one. The second and third generation pineapples that grow after that will be no larger than your fist. And we like to call those the sugar babies. Sugar babies tend to be more sweet, and you can find them at the grocery store labeled as diced pineapples in a can. Coming up on the right hand side, we have the hapu'u fern. I know it looks like a bit of a jungle in there, so in order to spot the hapu'u fern, look for that long skinny brown stem with the green stringy leaves hanging from it. It's about the height of the tram. These are native Hawaiian plants, so if you ever get the chance to get a closer look at it, take a real good look at it. Very soft and fluffy like.
これジップラインで使ってんのかな。
And coming up on the right hand side, you'll notice that tall brown tower there. There's about 5 towers here in the plantation, and all of those belong to the Maui Zipline company. It's one of 2 zip lines that we host here on the property. This one is very family friendly. They do take kids young as 5 years old, as long as they weigh 45 pounds. It's a great beginner zip. Leaves, they are most commonly seen as our hula skirts. It does take about 100 to 180 leaves to make a whole skirt, depending on your hip size. So imagine flipping those leaves over, stringing it together at the bottom of the stem, and then shredding it to give it that nice grassy effect. That's how you make a hula skirt. When you take a look at those red tea leaves, in the past, the Hawaiians would squeeze and strain that leaf to make a dye. With that dye, they would place it on their kapa, or also known as their clothing. You see, red back then was a sign of royalty. So only the elite or the high chiefs in the high monarchy would be able to use them. And shortly coming up ahead on the left hand side, you're gonna see the red ginger. And it's not the type of ginger that we cook or eat with, it's an ornamental flower. And this ornamental flower does not hold a fragrance to it. But if you walk up to it, give a little squeeze on the petal there, it will leave a nice, sweet, and spicy aroma on your fingertips. And some people say when you do that, it's going to leave that fruity pebble smell on your fingers. Looking at the right-hand side of the jackfruit tree. Jackfruits are the world's largest tree-borne fruit. They usually grow to be around 3 feet in length, weighing in at 40 to 80 pounds. The largest one we have on record is about 4 feet long, weighing in at 120 pounds. Unfortunately, you're not going to see any of those big jackfruits hanging, but we do have some baby jackfruits hanging at this time. Crafted canoe. The Hawaiian name for canoe is wa'a. Hawaiians are voyagers, of course, and also the navigators of the stars. With them came canoe crops such as sweet potatoes and coconuts. Speaking of coconuts, if you take a look at the left-hand side, that stage area there, that is where I will be performing a coconut husking demonstration for you all. So if you want to join me on the stage over there, just watch your heading and your footing as you exit off the tram. Keep in mind, this is our only stop at the whole tour. So if you want to walk around, take some pictures of the nearby plants, you're more than welcome to do so. I just ask for you to not take any of the fruits and to not walk away too far. Mahalo.
Oh, サッカーボールみたいな。あれを。
Alrighty, hi everyone. So before I start husking this coconut open, I'm going to be talking a little bit about it. So coconuts go through 3 different stages in their lifetime. They start off as a green, turn into a golden yellow, then finally reaches this brown stage here. When it reaches this brown stage, it is considered a seed. So right here in my hands, I have one of the world's 2nd largest seed. It's also very easy to grow a coconut tree. All you need is a brown coconut like this and some tropical weather, of course. Now, due to that fact, we like to joke around and call it the plant for dummies here in Hawaii. That's because all you need to do is grab a brown coconut like this, pick any spot in your backyard, then simply set it and forget about it. You don't need to dig a hole for it. You don't even need to water it on a daily basis at all either. That's because after a few months of setting and forgetting about it, you'll see a plant to sprout out of the husk just like this one here. Eventually, the roots are going to grow from the bottom of the husk and root itself into the ground wherever you placed it. Within the husk itself, already has the water and the nutrients for the coconut tree to grow on its own. But there is also a little small catch to it. Once you see the plant sprout out like this, you'll be waiting about 6 to 12 years before you see your first coconut tree producing its first set of coconuts. So it's definitely a long wait, but after that it's fruit for a lifetime because coconut trees can produce about 70 to 100 coconuts year round in no particular season. It does follow the moon cycle phase, so each new moon that comes out, a new rack of coconuts will start growing on the tree. So if you take a look to the side here, you'll notice these trees with the rings or the ridges around them. One ring will represent 1 year of the tree's lifetime. So that is living proof that these coconut trees can live to be over 100 years old, providing more than enough coconuts. But if you take a look at the top of those trees right now, there are no coconuts hanging at this time, and that's because coconuts are self-harvesting, which means they will fall to the ground at any stage without a warning. When you're in those younger green and golden yellow stages, that is when it weighs the heaviest and contains the most water in them. Sometimes they can weigh up to be around 10, 15, even 25 pounds. So can you imagine that weight of a bowling ball falling from a 70-foot tree, then landing right on top of your head? That is what we call a permanent stay here in Maui and at the fun kind. That's also why there's a state law here in Hawaii that all coconut trees in public areas must be trimmed every few months. And when you're on private property, it's completely up to the owner if they want to trim their trees or not. So it may seem nice to take some pictures underneath a full set of coconuts, park under it, or take a nap under it, but we obviously advise against that. There has also been 150 deaths worldwide caused by falling coconuts alone. And believe it or not, that is more than shark attacks. Statistically, you are 3 times more likely to die from a falling coconut to your head than getting attacked by a shark. So when you come to the islands, you're probably safer in the water than here on land. Now, just kidding, folks. On a serious matter, though, you do always want to be aware of your surroundings at all times. Now, up next, I'm going to show you the anatomy of these coconuts here and teach you a few of the Hawaiian words. This front side part of the coconut, this is what we call a pico. Can everyone say pico?
Pico.
Very good. Pico translates from Hawaiian to the belly button or the navel. Flipping to the back side of the coconut, this is what we call the okole. Can everyone say okole?
Okole.
Very good. Now, okole has several different meanings here in Hawaii. It kind of depends on who you're talking to. It's kind of a Hawaiian word you wouldn't want to really blurt out loud. That's because it literally translates from Hawaiian to the behind, the butt, but more specifically, the butthole. So now you know coconuts have a front and back end to it. Now I'm going to get to the fun part here, and I'm going to start husking this coconut open. And what I'll be using is the top head of a pickaxe that's welded onto the table here. So whenever you husk a coconut open, you always want to start from the pico side. It's going to be a lot more easier. If you were to start from the back side, it's going to be a lot more harder because it is more pinched on that side. And as you can tell, husking the first few layers of the coconut will definitely be the toughest part. But once you get in there, all you have to do is guide the pickaxe along the seed on the inside. Don't worry about puncturing the seed at all. It's very, very hard. You're not going to be able to get through it. It's actually going to just bounce right off. Now, I am also husking this coconut blindly, which means I don't know how thick or thin the husk will be, and I don't know how big or small the seed will be on the inside either. That is why there is no machine in Hawaii that could husk every single coconut open due to the many variations it comes in. And with that being said, we also do hold some fun husking records here. On the island of Oahu, there's this big Polynesian man who could husk his coconuts open in about 2 to 4 minutes, or excuse me, in about 2 to 3 seconds. But me and my coworkers like to call him a cheater, and that's because he uses a machete. He's also 3 times bigger than me and all my coworkers, so 3 easy chops and he's cut it right open. There's also another record held here on Maui, held by a woman. She can husk her coconuts open in about 3 to 5 minutes. Not as impressive as a 3 seconds, but what's really impressive is her technique. She doesn't use a pickaxe like me. She does not use a machete like the big Polynesian man. What she uses is her teeth. If you don't believe me, she actually has some videos online. She also used to perform some shows at Front Street Lahaina as well. But viewer discretion is advised. It's a bit cringy to watch. But she is retired now. Some of my coworkers haven't seen her for a very, very long time. So for all we know, she could have the world's nicest smile or no teeth at all at this point. But because I removed all the husk off, it will no longer grow into that coconut tree stage. It does need this husk to be fully intact with it in order for it to be protected and for it to survive on its own. But looking at this husk here may look like trash to all of us, but the Hawaiians are very resourceful people and never wasted a thing. They would actually tear off each fiber or strand over here, bind it together to get a very strong rope out of it. With that strong rope, they would tie their huts, canoes, all their tools together. They would also use these as their fishing lines. Very, very strong material, even durable when wet. And looking at the husk here, it's also a great fire starter, and it's slow burning too. If we were to light one husk up, it's going to light for about 15 to 20 minutes, and it does produce a lot of smoke, which makes it a great bug repellent. None of those mosquitoes like that smoke at all, but I do give you a fair warning. When you light a husk up, it gets off a very weird smell. Kind of smells like burning goat hair. Now, if you ever have a family barbecue at a beach, just take a husk with you, light it up there. You'll have that whole beach to yourself. No people or bugs around you. And looking at the fuzzy ball here, it does look a bit familiar, right? This is how you see them at the grocery stores. When you see it like this, it's most likely have been hand husked by a person. Now, what I'm also going to show you is that every single coconut in the world also has a little face to it. There's the two eyes and a mouth right here. Some people say it looks like a monkey, puffer fish, bowling ball. I actually had one lady tell me that it looked like her ex-husband one time, but there's no comment on that. Now, seeing a sharp tool such as an icepick or screwdriver, you want to be able to distinguish which one of these dots are the soft spots. Go ahead and start poking at it. So you know you be poking at the eyes because it's going to be a little hard to go through. It's actually going to take some time for you to puncture through the seed itself here. But if you poke through the mouth, it's going to seep right in with little to no effort at all. And that is because this is the germinal spore of the coconut. This is where eventually the plant's going to start to grow out of. It's going to suck up all the water in here. Then the plant's going to stick right out through here in the mouth and eventually become like the coconut here on the stage. Now, because this is a soft spot, this is also where the bugs can enter, then turn it into that bad coconut. I don't know if you ever opened up a bad coconut before. There'll be a little small surprise waiting from the inside. It's going to be a maggot and its whole family in there. Definitely not a pleasant surprise at all. Now what I'm doing here is kind of just widen the mouth a bit. I'm going to show you the liquid on the inside. So this is coconut water. A lot of people confuse this with coconut milk because it appears to be cloudy and white sometimes. But you can drink coconut water from all three different stages. All of the coconut water that you buy from the grocery stores, those all come from the younger green and golden yellow coconuts. Now the coconut one, those younger green and golden yellow stages, that is when it's most hydrating for you. It's also a lot more sweeter and it does carry more electrolytes and sports drinks like Gatorade and Powerade. When it becomes a brown coconut like this, the coconut water, like I said, it's a bit cloudy, white, a little bit sour, and it's been fermenting in here for months and months now. You can drink it too, but when you drink it, you want to be close to a restroom. It will act as a natural laxative, and it does kick in 15 minutes right after drinking it. So does anybody need help going to the bathroom at all today? Just kidding. We have about 25 minutes left in our tour. Nobody wants to be that little party pooper, right? What I'm also going to show you is how to crack a coconut open. It's a very simple process. What you want to remember is to look at the two eyes here. Between these two eyes, there's a little line or a little seam or prominent ridge there that runs from the front of the coconut to the back of the coconut. This is the second soft spot. So taking a heavy object such as a hammer, mallet, or in this case a little lava rock like this, hit it on the line or next to the line is going to open up the coconut less than a minute. So once you hear that initial crack, follow the line all around the coconut. Be careful not to pinch your fingers. Once the line's made up, All you have to do is pry it right open.
おー
Now, a phrase you want to remember with these brown coconuts is white meat, good to eat. You'll know it's a bad coconut when it's very brown inside, has some discoloration, or it has slimy texture. But this looks like perfect coconut meat here. You can eat the meat off of the shell just like this. It's going to have that very sweet almond taste. Now, when it becomes a brown coconut like this, it also loses a lot of the water, then gains a lot of the meat in these ones, so which makes the meat in these brown coconuts very hard and very stuck to the shell. If you were to try to take a spoon and try to take the meat off of the brown coconuts with that spoon, good luck, you're going to break it right in half. So without breaking your silverware, there's two easy methods for taking the meat off the brown coconuts. First method, use your freezers. Place the two halves back together, rubber band it shut, leave in the freezer for about 4 to 6 hours or even overnight. Take it right back out, let it thaw at room temperature for at least an hour or so. The meat's gonna pop right off. And that's because the meat holds so much moisture. When you leave moisture in the freezer, that meat will only expand. Then when you let it thaw, the meat's gonna shrink right back up and contract right off the shell. Second method, use your ovens. Place the two halves face down on the cookie sheet. Leave an oven in 350 degrees. Bake it for about 25 to 30 minutes. The meat is also going to pop off, but that'll be more like toasted coconuts. And with those toasted coconuts, you can use it to make your own coconut candy or coconut shavings for your baking pastries and stuff like that. And looking at the meat here, this is also where you get your coconut milk and your coconut oil from. So after you take that meat out, just place the meat to a food processor or blender, get it really fine, then strain it in a cheesecloth. That is how you get your coconut milk. To get that coconut oil, you can simply cut the meat up into little chunks, put on a frying pan on low heat, heat it for about 10 to 15 minutes. You're going to see a clear consistency coming off the meat there, and that will be your coconut oil. But beware, one coconut will only produce 1 shot glass worth of coconut oil or 1 cup of coconut milk. So if you want like a gallon or a liter, you might have to wait 6 to 12 years or collect at least about 40 coconuts. Now, in old Hawaii, when the Hawaiians take off all the meat, they would also use these coconut shells as their cups and their bowls. If they're skilled enough, they would transform into their weapons and their fishing hooks. They would also use this mouthpiece here as their natural filtration system as well. But now that we're in our modern times, you'll see these coconut shells as their souvenirs here, such as our candles, picture frames, buttons on the aloha attire, even little mini purse bags. But for some odd reason, Hawaii got famous for our coconuts. Does anyone know? Bras. Ladies, one size does not fit all. It does come out lopsided. You'll be searching for that perfect coconut bra for a while. But this does conclude my demonstration for you folks. If you want to see it up closely, touch it. I'm going to leave it right here in the front for you. Then in a few minutes, we'll board back on the tram, then continue on with the tour. Mahalo.
Size of a regular banana. So if you take a look at that purple pod that's hanging below the bananas there, that is the flower, or also known as, are also known as the hearts of the tree. So each time a petal drops, a new hand or new row of bananas will grow in its place. So the longer that flower is, the more bananas will produce from it. Eventually that flower is going to dry up and then fall to the ground. And once that happens, that is the indication of the bananas ready to be harvested. And after you harvest those bananas, you can actually go ahead and cut that tree down. These banana trees will only produce 1 bunch of bananas in its lifetime. So it's going to keep growing and reproducing on its own. So it's kind of similar to weeds. If you wanted to eradicate the whole thing, you're going to have to dig out that whole entire root system. So basically, another fruit for a lifetime, and you will never have to worry about replanting your own banana tree. Now, and because plumerias are so iconic here in Hawaii, it does have a meaning when you wear a flower on your ear. It'll signify your marital status. So ladies, whenever you wear a flower on the right hand side of your ear, that means you're single and ready to mingle. Whenever you wear a flower on the left hand side of your ear, that means you're taken, married, or even balled up and chained, or in Hana. And those are what we call the lo'i patches. Now what we like to do with the taro plant is also dig out the root, clean it, and pound it with water, which creates our traditional dish called poi. And poi is a purple pudding here starting in the springtime. We also grow the Haydn variety mangoes, and the Haydn variety are known to be the best kind. They are known to be more meaty, more juicy, and less stringy than all the other types of mangoes, which makes it my personal favorite. The average size of a mango, and the fibers that they couldn't swallow were eventually used as toothbrushes. We can also credit Hawaii's ethnic diversity to the sugarcane industry, as it brought many immigrants from different backgrounds to Hawaii to work in the fields. And Maui was home to the last working sugar mill, which had its last harvest in late 2016 after operating for 180 years. Harvesting as well. There's many of them scattered all over the ground here. We do have about 150 macadamia nut trees here, but we don't harvest any of them. On the island of Big Island, that is where the color. You can walk up to it, pick it up, give it a little shake. There's many seeds on the inside, so it kind of sounds like a rattling instrument almost. Some people use those elephant ear pods to help soothe their babies when they cry as well, and also use it as a musical instrument. And in ancient Hawaii, those early Hawaiians would use the elephant ear pod wood to make their canoes out of it. And coming up on the right hand side, we're going to be passing by our second vendor zip line called the Flying Hawaiian. The Flying Hawaiian is the longest zip line in the state of Hawaii. It does take place in the West Maui Mountains, taking you over all those valleys in between. The whole course itself is about 4.5 miles long, and the last line is about 1.5 miles long. It takes you from Waikapu all the way down to Malaya. And those lines can take you at the speeds around 60 to 70 miles per hour. So definitely a very adventurous type of zip line. If you're not afraid of heights and you're all about that height, they do take reservations only. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of our tour. I hope you all enjoyed it, learned a lot. I wish you all a hui ho and a malama pono, which means until we meet again, and to take care. Don't forget your complimentary fruit cups right behind the red coffee shop there. Aloha, and have a great day, everyone. Mahalo.
すごいくれるんだね。
ね、いただきます。
はーい。いただきます。
あ、これのこう。
何？あ、この大きいのにしてよ。次のトラムはもっと並んでる。
Yeah, babe, that was really good. What's that called? Sauce.
アロハシャツだ。 に試着室があるんだけど、大きいなこの試着室。広々してる。2人でもなんか入れそう。